Hello and welcome back to Timmer's Garage. Today we're going to be working on a project that I've been putting off for a long time. This 86 325 ES that I put a lot of work into just doesn't get driven anymore. Big reason for that is it's got no AC. So I opt for comfort over performance. Now it's time to give this car some love. All right, on to the car. This is my 1986 325 ES. This was swapped with an S52 by Blake Minson out of Belvedere, Illinois. If you need any swap, wiring, anything as far as the E30s go, he's your man. He did an amazing job on this car. Everything works. It works all the time. The wiring is top notch. I'll get into that a little bit. This is an early production, March of 1986. And from what I understand, the AC systems in these E30s is all pretty similar. I found some nuances with the wiring in mine that I'll get into. But overall, it's a very simple system, fairly reliable system from what I can tell. And converting these swapped cars is very, very easy. I say that now. The kit that I'm using is a kit from AC Solutions. They offer full kits for the M20 cars, the 318 cars, the 24 valve swap cars like this one. I opted to not get the full kit because I had some parts already. My AC lines, condenser, expansion valve, all that stuff seemed to be okay and working. So save money for performance parts. So I'll just put in what I think is necessary to get this going. We'll let you know how it goes in the end. My wife's 89 convertible, we converted to 134A. We left the factory condenser and expansion valve, just swapped out the O-rings, receiver dryer, and filled it with 134A, and it blows cold. So I opted to not do the expansion valve in this car just because I didn't feel like messing around underneath the dash, even though I was in there a little bit to check out the wiring. But if it doesn't work as well as I expected, I can always change it out in the future. The expansion valves are not hard to get to. They're not expensive. But for now, I'm just going to be opting to run the factory expansion valve. As far as fan wiring, I can't speak much on that because Blake did all the wiring on this car. It works. I got a SPAL pusher fan ahead of the radiator. Plan on moving that in front of the condenser. And from what I can tell so far, having not gotten too far into the car, it works. With the AC, it kicks on low when I hit the AC button. So I'm just going to roll with that and see how it goes. Let's talk about the AC systems in these E30s. There's basically two systems. There's an early model variant and a late model variant for the AC systems, and they're pretty similar, but there's some distinct differences that you got to watch out for. Essentially, this diagram is going to be for the late model. I found this on E30's own wiki, and just through internet sleuthing, I found the differences between the early model and late model variants. But essentially, they're pretty similar, pretty basic 80s solid state controls. So robust, easy to troubleshoot, and this has a whole troubleshooting guide when you get down to the end, so you can kind of check out what's going on with the compressor controls. All right, so to begin troubleshooting my system, I first checked to make sure that I had power at fuse 20 in the underhood fuse block on be the driver's side on the US cars. 30 amp fuse that feeds power to the AC selector controls, which in turn, when you turn on the AC power, it, depending on early model, late model, it sends power to the evaporator temperature regulator, which with that is an evaporator temperature sensor, which monitors the temperature of the evaporator core. And if it gets too cold, it stops the compressor to allow it to defrost or keep it from freezing up. Early models don't have the evaporator temperature regulator. Early models just have a temperature switch that is monitoring the temperature of the evaporator, which in normal operation is closed, which then sends power to the high pressure cutoff switch and the low pressure cutout switch, which are on the receiver dryer. Early models have both these switches. Late models have one switch, which has 3 wires that does both low pressure and high pressure. These are just safety switches to make sure that the system is pressurized and would work so you don't burn out the compressor, that there's refrigerant in the system. I have my low pressure switch bypassed right now. Unfortunately, my high pressure switch didn't fit in the receiver dryer, so there is some differences between early model and late model. I think I got the right switch because it's a 2-wire, but it doesn't thread into my receiver dryer, so it's a little bit too big. So I think my receiver dryer is the late model variant. So I'm just gonna wing it because that's what we do in the E30 community, and just bypass the switches. I'll know if the AC is not working because it won't be cold. And I think as long as you don't run the compressor too long without refrigerant, it should be fine. There's oil in the compressor to protect it when it's running. So yeah, these switches are normal closed, operating within limits, and then the power is then sent to the compressor clutch. So in a perfect world where everything's operating, you hit the AC button, power goes to the evaporator temperature regulator, or in the early model, the temperature switch. Power gets passed along to the 2 cutoff switches, and as long as those are closed, power goes to the compressor, engaging the compressor. So I troubleshot all of my system. It's working. I got 12 volts of the compressor. However, my blue light doesn't come on the dash. I think it's just burnt out. The car's 40 years old, so it came from California. I'm sure the AC was used quite a bit, so it just doesn't work. But I know I got power to the compressor. I hit that AC button, the clutch engages, and I can spin the compressor. So yeah, that's in a nutshell the E30 AC compressor controls. Hopefully this gives you a hand with troubleshooting your car. A lot of these cars have been hacked up. Luckily, my AC wiring was intact, so best of luck with your car. All right, let's talk about the wiring a little bit. Like I said, the power comes from the AC panel in the car, and it runs through a series of switches. So this is the connector for my low pressure switch, which I didn't think I had. But what I did is I just looped a piece of wire with some spade connectors through that to basically bypass it, because I'm not going to be using it. But if you look at the color of the wires, they're black with yellow. And if you follow this back to the high pressure sensor, this also has a black with yellow striped wire going to this spade terminal. And basically when the switch is in the closed normal position, it passes the voltage through back to the compressor wire. I anticipate when the circuit is complete, that's when you get your blue light on the dash that the AC is all happy and working. We'll find out when I get to that point. Right now, I do have voltage here when I activate the AC, so I know that most of the system is working, and in theory, everything should work. This round area here is where the receiver dryer mounts. And then if you follow this back up to the firewall, Blake was awesome and left my factory AC interior lines in place. Just got to remove this hood latch and I should be able to get in there. I bought all new AC O-rings, replacing those. My factory lines are in pretty decent shape, so I'm just going to be reusing those. And yeah, it should be a pretty straightforward process. We'll find out once I start digging into it. But let's go inside the car. I'll show you kind of how that system works. All right, looking at the inside of the car, I'm just going to put my key on to get voltage to everything to wake up. And blower motor's working. I'm going to call for AC. And as you can see, I got nothing. This is normal. There are switches in this panel that if you don't have any of your vents open, it's not going to allow the AC to kick on to prevent the evaporator from freezing up. So I kick this on, vents open. You can see that I'm just using a recirculating button to show that the system's working. However, if I go off, it still is working. Okay. Well, maybe my switches are broken. But initially when I was troubleshooting, I did have to have my sliders open about a quarter of the way to make sure that the AC system is operating. Ignition's on, AC's on, and I'm just going to check for voltage here at the switch. And we have battery voltage. Connection's kind of bad, I'm sorry, but I assure you we have, there we go. We have 12 volts, well, about 12 volts. There's a draw on the battery, so it's a little low. So in theory, we should be good. So let's get this girl up in the air and get that radiator out so we can pull the fan and get it mounted on the condenser. All right, taking a peek around. Pretty easy access to everything underneath the car. I got to get that skid plate off to get better access to some of the hoses and clamps and the radiator drain. If you guys don't have a skid plate on your swapped car, I recommend getting one. As you can see, mine's been hit quite a few times. Granted, I'm a little lower than factory, but nothing extreme. So yeah, let's get the skid plate off. All right, the radiators are super easy to remove on these E30s. All we have is this bracket that holds the upper radiator support, held in by two 10 mils. Disconnect the fan switch, radiator hoses, and it'll lift right out. I gotta look at the fan wiring. I don't know if it's spliced in with a connector or just with butt connectors. So once I get to that point, I'll take a peek and see what we got. If it's just butt connected in, I got a new 12 gauge Deutsch connector that I plan on putting in place so we can unplug and disconnect the fan whenever I needed. So I'll get to work on removing this radiator. All right, radiator's draining. I'm gonna pull off the front grills. Super easy. It's 2 screws, a bunch of clips on the upper end. You'll see those. That way I can get access to the fan. I don't see a connector, so I'm just gonna snip the wires for now and add that Deutsch connector into the fan. Radiator's just about draining. Once I get that all disconnected, I'll pull it out and we'll transfer that fan over to the condenser. Put it end one. I'm good at losing screws. Did I mention it's hot out? That's why I want AC. Granted, I've lost some weight. However, I'm still getting old. So I just don't tolerate heat that much anymore. Hey, I'm gonna lose another screw. That's cool. Got it. All right. There, now we got some access to the fan. You can see she's all loose in there. So here's the fan wiring. I'm just gonna take a peek at this here. 2 wired, so that's gonna be super easy to displace in. And yeah, right here I got the butt connectors. So I'm gonna cut those out and wire in that Deutsch connector when it comes. So hopefully Amazon comes today. Okay, that's cut. 2 wired. Don't worry about wiring that in a minute, but let's get the radiator out. All right, radiator is out. Figured you didn't need to see me struggling with that, but it actually wasn't too bad. So what we have here is down here, these are the radiator and condenser supports. Radiator supports are down lower, condenser supports are right here, and then the condenser basically just bolts up to some pre-existing holes with the tabs on top of the condenser. So it should be a pretty straightforward install. As I jinx myself here, let's go look at the fan. So fan looks to be fitting pretty good so far on the condenser. Could have 4 mounting points here. It just has to clear right here where these tabs kind of line up. So I'm gonna do some self tappers into this metal and it should be good to go. We'll find out. So let me get working on that. I don't think you guys need to see me drill holes, but it looks pretty straightforward. So I'm gonna get at her. Check it out. She's all mounted, 4 tabs. Actually just lined up great with the sheet metal on the condenser. So I just got some trimming to do. I'm gonna trim these tabs off for these mounting brackets. Fan spins freely. So yeah, I think we're golden as long as it fits. So let me get those tabs trimmed off and then let's give her a test fit. Well, unfortunately, I'm running into the same issue as happened with the radiator. Condenser does not fit in with the fan on. So I am going to dismount the fan and we are going to go put the condenser in because I don't want to booger up all the fins trying to squeeze it in there, and then mount the fan through the grill. So yep, have patience watching me complete this, but at least today I want to get the condenser mounted up, radiator back in, and then I'll be waiting for parts. Well, there you have it, all mounted up nice and tight. Just 2 tabs mount to these pre-existing brackets, or holes I should say, in the radiator core support. If we go around to the front, let's take a look here. We oh, camera. Have this all mounted. She's solid. Fan spins nice and free. It's tight. It's pretty tight against there, but it'll work. Got some fan wiring to do, wiring that Deutsch connector. I should be able to get to these AC lines when I connect them up here. We'll see. I'm gonna leave the grill off and things kind of disconnected to make sure that I can get to that stuff. In fact, I'm gonna wait to put the radiator back in, just until I make sure that I can get those fittings tightened up for the AC lines. In fact, I can probably do that. I think about it, because those are just going to go into the one to the compressor and one to the receiver dryer. So yeah, I'm gonna get working on that. All right, I'm gonna kind of show you the hoses. This is the hose that's gonna run to the condenser to the receiver dryer. It's got this little angle. It's gonna go on the bottom, I believe, and then run past the headlight into where the receiver dryer is located. I got brand new O-rings for these. They are soaking in peg oil right now. Always lubricate your O-rings when connecting your fittings. So I think I'm gonna be able to reach this one through the cow catcher air dam. Find out. Well, there you have it. Those connected up just fine. Right through, come on camera, right through the top and the bottom. And I'll be able to get a 17 mil wrench in there to tighten those up, no problem. I'll show you where they come out. And this is where they come out from up there. That's going to be one of our compressor fittings. And then this is our return that goes to receiver dryer. So I'm happy with that. I'm not going to tighten them up yet until I get the compressor in there. But I am going to clean the radiator and reinstall that. So catch you guys in a bit. All right, check it out. Look what was just delivered. We have a compressor bracket. So I'm going to work on getting that all installed here. Come on, camera. Right up in there and get the compressor mounted. As you can see, the radiator's installed. Still gotta finish bleeding it. Apparently, these are a pain in the tush, gotta bleed. So I'm working on that. So catch you in a bit. Alright, compressor wiring is super easy. I left a pretty long pigtail on the compressor. All I did was use a butt connector. And then I have the lead for the compressor from the harness. That is black with a red stripe. And all I'm going to do is mount some waterproof spade connectors and trim it back. That way, if I need to service anything or take the compressor off, it's easy to get to. So I don't think you guys need to see me actually wire anything. It's pretty straightforward. But I'll show you the end product when I'm finished. We are all wired up. I just kind of tucked the wire in here for now. I'm going to jumper this sensor because it's not in right now. And then see if we get power to the clutch and a blue light at the dash. All right, next up, I did check the power to the compressor. We got it. Clutch is engaging. I'm not getting a blue light on the dash, so I don't know if it's burned out or what, but regardless, yeah, just bleeding the cooling system off here. It's been a thing. So regardless, it should work. Compressor should kick on with that switch bypass. So I'm going to go ahead and start installing the hard lines for the compressor and the return for the evap coil. And right now I'm just going to remove this hood latch so I can get better access to these lines here. So let's get at her. All right, the hard lines going to the firewall are all buttoned up. Super easy to put back on. Just a couple mounting flanges. I'm just kind of leaving them loose for now because I still need a couple fittings for the compressor for the manifold adapter. But I'm close enough now where I think I'm going to get together the receiver dryer, get that all set up so we can put that back in. And I don't like to leave those open if I can't. However, considering there's just two open ends on the compressor side, which I'll plug up and then hopefully get those attached tomorrow, I'm okay with it. So let's get that all set up. So check it out. I got my O-ring soaking in PAG compressor oil. Looks like the 90s threw up in my little container here. It's got UV dye in it. I should note that I also did put new compressor oil in the compressor when I got it. It was empty, which is to be expected on a used compressor. This particular Denso, according to the chart, takes 4.1 ounces. So I put that in on the suction side. So let's get the lines hooked up. I'm going to spin it over a little bit and get that lubrication moving around. so we don't have any hydro locking issues with the compressor when we first started up. Getting close, guys, getting close. All right, I'm back. My phone died. I don't know why you guys didn't tell me that my phone was about to die, but apparently it didn't charge last night. So took a break. Actually, I kind of finished up some things, took a break, grabbed some lunch, let the phone charge, and we'll get back at her. So one thing you guys are probably wondering, if you look at the connectors on the manifold for the compressor, those aren't gonna fit these. Nope. So I had a couple options. I could have the lines remade with the correct connectors, or I can go to AC Solutions. They sell brand new lines to the tune of about 430, 450 bucks with shipping. More than I really wanted to pay, I guess. So I went to Cold Hose. I got these fittings here. Basically male to male O-ring adapters. These will go into the new compressor manifold and hook up to the old fittings. So these were like 50 bucks compared to 450. So sorry, AC Solution guys. You probably don't want to get that secret out there because probably not going to sell as many hoses now, but I'm cheap. Actually, I'm frugal, and I'd rather spend money on go fast parts. So let's get those hoses installed. Okie dokie. Well, we ran into a little snafu. This number 12 O-ring fitting fits on the suction hose from the factory fitting just fine. However, it does not fit in the manifold. So I think that is going to be a number 10 fitting. So I went to the parts bin, aka eBay, one more time. Cut off that old fitting here and ordered a number 10 O-ring, male O-ring fitting to go into that manifold. And then I will crimp it onto the hose. I should have plenty of hose length here, so that should work just fine. So again, now we're just waiting for parts again. So I'll see you when those parts come in. All right, everybody, welcome back to the garage. It's been not quite a week since the last video, but I got some updates as far as parts that came in. So I went and found a number 10 bead lock crimp connector that's going to fit this low pressure suction line to the compressor manifold. And with that number 8 adapter, should thread in just fine with the factory AC lines. Also got a late model dryer reservoir, or dryer receiver, I apologize, that does have the bigger connection to fit the switch. So I'm no longer going to be bypassing my high pressure switch to keep the functionality of the system partially intact. So I think that's a good idea to have some safety switches in mind instead of just yeeting it out there. So yeah, let's get to work crimping this connector on and making those final connections to the compressor and changing out that receiver dryer with the correct one. All right, fast forward about an hour. Finally got the lines installed. I'm going to try and adjust this one a little bit just so it's not so close to the header. There's a little bit of room yet to move it around, but got the new dryer installed with the safety switch, so that's awesome. So let's go inside the cab, see what we got for power and functionality. All right, ignition on. Listen to that. Turn the air on. Accessory fan is running, blowing pretty good. And then I'll come down here, check the compressor, and it is engaged. Success. All right, just a couple more things to button up, and we should be good. I gotta just put the belt on the compressor and install the tensioner. So I'll get at that and show you the end product. All right, got the belt installed. As you can see, that this has the hydraulic belt tensioner on the AC accessory belt. These things are hard to find. There's only a couple for sale on eBay, and I got a good deal, I think, paying 120 bucks for this one. So I don't know why they're so expensive or why they're so hard to find, but they are. So just be prepared for that if you don't have a bracket and tensioner on your car already. So just a couple more things to button up. I'm going to put the skid plate back on and just make sure all the wiring and everything is tucked away and secure. All right, car's off the rack. It's all buttoned up. Next step is just to get it to the shop to have the AC system vacuum tested and filled. According to AC Solutions, the system should take 1.95 pounds of 134A for a fill. I think it's plus or minus 5%. So you get 2 pounds in there, you get 2 pounds in there. It's going to be close enough. So yeah, that should do it for this video. The lessons learned. I bought way too many fittings. I didn't research enough ahead of time to see what would fit in that compressor manifold adapter. I bought the wrong receiver dryer. I bought the late model, needed the early model, 2 versions. Late model has 3 tabs for mounting, early model has 2 tabs, and the hole for the high pressure sensor's larger diameter to fit the 2-prong sensor. Other than that, things went pretty well. I suggest when you mount the AC lines to the compressor, do it before you mount the compressor. It's a pain in the butt to get those fittings on there when it's mounted in the car. I ended up removing the compressor. I didn't video it because, I mean, I can tell you guys about it. You don't have to see me remove the compressor again, install the lines, and then pop it back in. But it was way easier to get those fittings on outside with the compressor outside the car, and then just fish the lines back up past the exhaust and where they needed to go. So yeah, the 86 is pretty much done for now. It doesn't need anything besides getting the AC going. It drives like a dream. It does need a little bit of paint work. I boogered up the mirror a little bit, a lot of it, backing it in and crushing it on the door. There is some paint work that needs to get done to the hood. Some solvent pop when I had the respray done, so we're gonna get that fixed up. The driver's side door has a ding from the inside from when I broke the door brake, slamming it shut, and it it put a dent in the door from the inside of the door skin. So I got to get that pushed back in and have the paint fixed up where that cracked. I also, if you look behind the Corvette here, have an Amtech 2 spoiler and a trunk lid back there that I want to get painted up at the same time and get on the car. I think that'll look sharp over the standard ES spoiler that's on there now. This is the little things to the early models that make them really look nice and stand out. So as far as other projects, the wife's 89 convertible is perfect. Doesn't need anything. It's all original paint. Paint's not perfect, but for an 89, I'd rather keep it original. The bigger area is up on the lift because that's the next car to get some work. The thing runs and drives great. However, it does have a small fuel leak from the gas tank above half a tank. So I think there's an issue with the seam. So I got it run down to about quarter tank right now. I'm going to drain the rest of the fuel, pull the tank, and see if we can figure out where that's leaking. The Lotus, been great. For being a British car and temperamental, hasn't needed anything. Corvette is sold. I'm just waiting for transport to get here to pick it up. And it's actually going to Argentina. The wagon, the Touring, I should say, runs great. Doesn't need anything, maybe a little bit of tuning. It was upgraded to the 2.5 liter from the 2 liter. Occasionally has a high idle. It seems to run a little rich, but it runs fine. It drives fine. I took it to work today, down the highway. It was great. No issues. Gets a lot of looks. It's a lot of fun to drive. E21 needs a clutch, and right now it's acting as a floaty holder, I guess. But anyway, got the new clutch for that. I just gotta find time to get it up on the rack and pull the transmission, put the new clutch in, and check everything out. But yeah, stay tuned for those videos. I don't know when I'm gonna get to them. I still work full time, have a lot of projects at hand, so I just get to them when I find time. So thanks for tuning in, and hope this video helps you out. See you guys later.